Greetings, my Israelite brothers and sisters, heirs, joint heirs, adopted, grafted, natural, spiritual, however you may come. I pray that this car cam, as always, finds you all well. Let me make a little minor adjustment here. Okay. I just hope this finds you all well. Hello, KT. Hello, Linda. Hello, Brother Mark. Those of you all that's coming in, I want to say hello to all of you. It's Wednesday. And Laughter, how you doing up there? I know it's cold up there where you are. And Kelly, how you doing? I know it's definitely cold where you are in Philly. So, today's December the 10th. Let's talk about this YouTube and people concerned about YouTube and what's going to happen and this and that and that and this and channels shutting down and all of that stuff. I spoke with Brother Benaiah Israel the other day and just let him know, don't worry. How you doing, Lady J? A lot of people think that, oh, this is my last time on YouTube. And of course, you know, we always go through this, you know, doomsday type of thing. So I told Brother Benaiah, I posted something on his site. We spoke yesterday. And I said, brother, all you got to do is just hit that your videos is not for kids. That's it. That's all you have to do, and you're good. YouTube, a lot of people on YouTube are saying one thing. Look to find out what YouTube is saying. YouTube will tell you what the rules of the game are. It's almost like everything. It's almost like the 400 years, you know. It's always doomsday. I always tell people the next greatest big thing that's going to happen is when the abomination of the desolation stands in the holy between a group of people. And they were talking about, you know, Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that, and the Republicans are doing this and Democrats are doing this. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like listening at the hype that everybody's into. This is not the first time that we've had this to happen. It's just not, you know, these things go in a rotating circle. And after a while, you learn not to get caught up into the hype. And I told people, they said, well, you know, we got to make sure he doesn't get voted in. I said, listen, vote however you want to vote, but he will be your president in 2020. He's going to be your president. That's, you know, not that I care one way or the other, because after a while, when you learn that the Most High is in charge, and the scripture says in the book of Amos, nothing happens and the Lord have not done it. Once you start to live according to the word and understand how things operate, certain things don't even faze you anymore. They don't even faze you. You don't even worry about it. I'm telling you, you don't even worry about it. You just don't. Do y'all remember back in, I think it might have been 2008, 2010, where the housing market crashed? I'm going back 8 years ago. Some of you all, you might have been just getting your ears wet. And that was serious. And let me tell you, back during the housing market, houses in Florida went up $100,000. Houses that was on the market for 150, they went for sale for 250, 300. No kidding. No kidding. And it was like everybody was on the frenzy to buy a house. And you would go in and people were going in together, buying houses, buy the property, buy the property. And everybody was doing it. Well, you know, it was, after they did it, there was bad loans. And they, what they did during that time is they put people in what they call, it was like a deferred interest program. Your interest rate was like 2%. And then in 4 years, it would go up to 10%, but you had an opportunity to refinance it at a better interest rate. So when the 4 years is up, your payment went up astronomically. It was like a balloon, BALOON. It was a balloon payment, and people couldn't afford it. And they couldn't afford it because not only did the interest rate go up, but the insurance went up, the taxes went up, and people couldn't afford it. So it crashed the market. And it was done intentionally. It was done intentionally by the real estate market and the banks to flood the market. And they overflooded. They primed it too much. They primed it too much. And you know, if you had a house at the time, it was good. But everybody said, I gotta go get a house. I gotta go get a house. And they did. Everybody felt like it was the thing to do. If you didn't get a house, if you didn't go and get a house, you would never get a house in your lifetime. That all the houses were going to be gone. And so it put people on a frenzy. And that's what YouTube people saying, my channel's shutting down, this is it, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I sit back, I just watched my email. I didn't get anything from YouTube, nothing. And then finally, I went to go online, not on YouTube, but I went to go just in web search. And I found a site that was authentic, that was put up by YouTube. And YouTube says, these gamers and these people are throwing this stuff out there and they don't know what they're talking about. When we say that you can be fined, it's COPA. It wasn't even YouTube, it was COPA. COPA is Child Online Private Protection Act. It's called COPA, COPPA. It stands for Child Online Private Protection Act. And what it is that, and it's not only YouTube they're going to hit, they're hitting everybody, every online channel. It doesn't matter doesn't matter what it is. As long as it's got advertisers, what happens is that they have to make sure that what the children are getting access to, that the advertisers are not doing something that's going to harm the minds of the children. That's why it's called Children or Child Online Private Protection Act. So basically, here's how you get fined, by the way. You get fined, like my channel is a channel that's not for children. So what I got to do is make sure I don't put anything on my channel that would attract children. And if I do, and if the wrong advertisement comes up, then I can get fined because I'm now attracting children. Blessed and Healthy says it's deeper than that, Pastor Johnson. Well, yeah, I know people are going to say, well, they're coming at us for telling the truth, this, and that. Let me tell you this. I'm not saying that we don't need to have redundancy. What I mean by redundancy, we don't need to have a second platform and a third platform. I agree that we should. We should always have backup platforms. And I learned that from my experience with Facebook. Facebook shut our church Facebook channel down. Shut it down. Gone. Shut it down. And I had almost like 5,000 friends on there, but they shut it down. And I could have looked at it as if, well, they're attacking me for telling the truth. Well, the reality of it is, we were violating the Facebook policy. And the Facebook policy is that a business cannot have a Facebook page or Facebook account. You can have a Facebook page, but not a Facebook account. And we had a Facebook account. And what we did was our first name was Bethel House, and our last name was Of God. So when the channel came up, it said Bethel House of God. And when they looked closer at the channel, and they said, this is not a Facebook, this is not a person, this is a church, it's a private company, it's a business. So they said, you can't do that. Facebook is not designed for that. So they said, you need to start back over and you can have a Facebook page. Well, okay, I looked at it that way. A lot of people looked at it, no, Pastor Johnson, you talking about the truth now, and they coming at you. And they targeting you. Listen, you're gonna be targeted anytime you tell the truth. Okay? And it's not so much you're gonna be targeted, people are gonna always be looking and watching, and that's just the way it is. But you have no other choice but to use the platforms that this society has. That's it. So what we've done, that's what led me over to Facebook and Twitter. But Twitter you cannot go live on. Facebook is the only thing that you can go live on. And when I first came to Facebook, anybody can go live. Then they came out with a rule that you cannot go live until you have 1,000 subscribers. Okay, well, when they came out with that rule, we had just went over about 1,100 subscribers. So it did not impact us. But people said more's coming. And what COPA is, they hit them for doing it. Okay, let me see what's, I think, yeah, Blessed and Healthy says, think about it. It was really about the safety of the children. It was really about the safety of the children. Why are they allowing perverted lessons about sexual orientation in kindergarten and up? They are passing laws that we don't know about. Yeah, well, and you're right. In fact, Blessed and Healthy, we had this conversation. I had this conversation, I believe it was yesterday or the day before. The same thing. They says, well, that's crazy. They want to protect the children online, but yet they are forcing them to learn about sexual preferences and to respect sexual preferences in school and to know about it, and people this and that. And I understand. I'm with you on that. I got you on that. But COPA is a different animal. It is. It's a different animal. It's about advertisers. Somebody got to a conservative, and a conservative who's a Republican, because most conservatives are Republicans, and they passed a law that said, you got to protect these children online. We don't care what else, whatever you do, you can do it. But make the channel owners say that their channel is not for children. Make them say it. And if they do say, here's the caveat. If you say, you can have a channel that's for children, by the way. You can have a channel for children. Or you can say that my content is child friendly. You can have that. There's no penalty. You can still have your channel. Nobody's going to bother you. Here's the issue. The moment you check that, you can no longer go live. And there's no more comments in the chat room. Nobody can leave comments on your videos. So yeah, you can do it, but that's what you're going to lose. Well, I like going live. I like doing car cams. So what do I say? This is not for children. So there's certain things I will not talk about. I won't talk about how to go to Disney World and have a good time. I won't have a title like that, because a title like that attracts children. I can't put Disney World or Walt Disney or I'm going to Disney, or I can't even say car cam from Disney World, even though I may be in Disney World legitimately, but I can't say car cam from Disney World to just say, in essence, I'm in Orlando, I'm on vacation, but yet I'm still doing the car cam, because that word Disney World will draw children. And if it draws children, boom. America will be just like Russia and sisters China. Well, I will say this. Trump is going to win the 2020 election. I'm not a prophet. It's just common sense. Trump and the conservatives are, when they say, and I'm certainly not a pro-Trump, I'm not pro-nobody. Trump did away with I think it's ask and don't tell policy for the military. They're crediting him for that. Obama brought that in. I was very disappointed, but hey, because I think that when you go into the military, people need to know whether, I'm not saying whether you can or cannot. I am not getting into all of that. I'm not getting into all of that. What I'm simply saying is that what you can't do is go inside the military for the sole purposes of getting a sex change operation by the taxpayers' dollars because you're serving in the military. You can't do that. No. And I have several reasons for that argument, and it's all economic. Why are we spending that kind of money to let somebody come in the military for the sole purposes of getting an operation when you got veterans out here that we can't even take care of? So we need to start putting more money toward the people that have served that's out here on the street corners. And trust me, there is a lot in South Florida. And I've met some of them. I have gone, and when we do ministry and when we deal with people, I've asked people, you say you're a veteran. Are you really a veteran, or are you just saying that? They'll open up their wallet and show you their Army ID card like it ain't nothing. I met a pilot. The guy showed me his picture. He was on the street, living underneath the bridge. He was homeless. He showed me a picture, not only his military ID, he showed me a picture of himself in an F-15 fighter. The man told me, I drive a plane more than what buildings cost. And he says, I'm homeless. So I asked him why could he tell me a story? And he told me a story. I won't share it, it's too long to share. But legitimately, he's got a legitimate reason why he's homeless. I mean, some things happen, and just psychologically, it just made the man give up. He just gave up, And let me tell you, it happens. It really happens. So you'd be surprised who you're dealing with is out there homeless. So my thing is, I think the president made a good move, because you cannot use taxpayers' dollars to let somebody come into the military for the sole purposes they have an agenda, and that is to get a free operation. I'm sorry, that ain't gonna work. I'm not saying people can't go do what they want to their bodies. That's between them and God. I don't judge that. That's between them and the Most High. I don't get into that. I don't deal with that. Nothing. So that's the way that is. But I don't want to pay for it. I don't want my tax dollars paying for that. Now, if you tell me you're gonna give the homeless that are veterans. You're going to build a complex so they can move in there and come back and do something in society. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I think that's a great deal to do. But here's the thing. When you pay for somebody to get an operation like that, you bought their medical life the rest of their life. You paid for that operation. You went through, now you got to go through with it. So when they spend 4 years and become a veteran, then you got to take care of that, and whatever complications comes after that, the rest of that soldier's life. So that's the issue. And that's what Trump's issue was with it. One of his issues. So it's just it's a lot going on. Health, blessing health, that you mentioned Russia and China. One of the reasons why the president has to be the president is because it's predestined that Russia and China become world powers. America has to back off and come back home, and that's what's happening. That's what happened in Syria a few months ago. America pulled out, Russia went in, and the Democrats had a fit. Why did you pull the soldiers out? Look at what just happened. Russia went in there. And the reason why they don't want Russia to go inside of Syria, because there is a set of mountains that is owned by Syria that's occupied by Israel, but it belongs to Syria, and the president, without help, it's difficult for Israel to keep those mountains. And so with Russia in there, Russia is not pro-Israel. So this is the way it goes. Yes, to go and fight for this country and come back to the States and get nothing. Yeah, it's really. Here's the next thing to look at is the census. The 2020 census is coming up. That's very important politically, and let me tell you why. And that's how cities get their funding. But in South Florida, we are a melting pot. We have people from various islands, South America, the Caribbean islands, whether it's Haiti, whether it's Cuba, Jamaica, wherever. A lot of people are here without the proper documentation. And it's a lot. It's a lot. So you will never be able to properly calculate how many people are here, because a lot of people are not going to make sure they're going to make sure they're not counted unless the government changes its laws. But the problem is, even if the government says, hey, come in here and show us that you've been here for 10 years and you don't have a record, we will give you temporary status. People don't trust them. They're not going in. They don't trust him. I know of a Haitian American pastor that was up in West Palm Beach. They sent him a letter, told him to come in. They realized he's been here for a while, and to come in and start his paperwork. Now, he had been the pastor of this congregation for 20 years. I understand, like 22 years. Well, he went in and he dropped off some paperwork. And then they told him when they were there, when he dropped off the paperwork, he dropped it off. Once they verified, based upon his application, that he had been here for over 20 years, they called him in another time. And after they verified that he had been here, they shipped him out. They put him in, there's a detention center called Chrome Detention Center, which is where when you are here illegally, they rounded him up, brought him in, and he never came back out. His church was in an uproar. It was crazy. And that has happened this year to about 10 people that I know. 10 people that I know. Business owners who've had businesses for 10, 15 years, And they got a letter and they went in, and within a 3 or 4 day period, they grabbed everybody. And then, of course, the notice went out to everybody. Hey, that's a scam by the government. They're taking you in. And there's a law in the books that says that the government cannot do that, to scam you to come in for the sole purposes of shipping you out of the country. So Congress got involved, and that was done by the Republicans. Immigration, and listen, hold your breath, y'all. That's all I gotta say. Hey, listen, and tune in tonight. I think I'm gonna do it tonight. Okay, peace.